Da Costa goes up third quickest. Good lap time there for Antonio. Pushes De Grassi on to the bubble. What about Oliver Rowland? No, seventh fastest. Again, a challenging time in the group stages for the two Nissans. Tictum improves, stays eighth fastest. Gunther goes up into second, does knock out Lucas De Grassi then as De Grassi comes to the timing line. Mortara is now through into fourth place as well. There are your four drivers that make it through from Group A. Nick Cassidy, Maximilian Gunther, Mitch Evans and Enno Mortara. Dennis does improve, he goes fastest then, a 1:02.5 for Jake Dennis. Good lap time for him. At the moment, it's into the Duels. What about Joel Eriksson then? Fifth quickest for him currently as he comes to the line. Stays fifth fastest. Norman Nato in the second of the Andretti's. Can he spoil Jean-Eric Vergne's party? He can! He knocks out Jean-Eric Vergne, so the two Andretti's make it through. It is Jake Dennis, Norman Nato, Stoffel Van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein, the four drivers that go forwards into the Duels. Maximilian Gunther versus Mitch Evans first of all, then we'll have Enno Mortara and Nick Cassidy, Stoffel Van Dorn and Norman Nato, Pascal Wehrlein and Jake Dennis going head-to-head against one another. But it is Evans versus Gunther. Now let's see whether Gunther can build up an advantage. A snap of oversteer mid-corner through 13 there. That's going to cost him a fraction of time. Knight on the exit though. Again, a little bit of a slide as he comes to the line. It's going to be close between them, but I think Evans is just going to do it by a tenth of a second. Over to quarter-final two then, Enno Mortara versus Nick Cassidy. Mortara is harrying that car through the final couple of corners. Gets a wiggle as he comes to the timing line. What's it going to be? He lost time in that final sector. It's a 1:02.2. I think this could give an advantage here to Nick Cassidy as he comes around 14 through turn 15. Look at it. He's picked it right up in the final couple of corners, and Cassidy does do enough. Quarter-final three then, Stoffel Van Dorn versus Norman Nato. We ride on board here with Nato. This final corner has caught out quite a few drivers, and again, a snap of oversteer for Nato. He's constantly soaring away and correcting at the wheel. This is going to be very, very tight between these two. Will it go the way of Nato or Van Dorn? It's Nato by 32 hundredths of a second. Quarter-final four then, Pascal Wehrlein versus Jake Dennis.
Wehrlein scrappy at the last corner, touching inside curb, snap of oversteer as well.
Yeah, going wide through there is not going to help his cause as Wehrlein goes over. It's a 1:02.2. That's not a particularly brilliant lap time at all. And Dennis has got a country mile. This is done and dusted before the lap's even finished here for Jake Dennis. All he's got to do is have a good run through these final couple of corners. He does get a snap of oversteer, but I think he'll still have enough in his pocket as he comes to the timing line. Both Andretti's are through. Ultimately, it's the two Jags versus the two Andretti's into the semi-finals. So we'll have a Jag and Andretti final then, shall we? So Evans versus Cassidy for the first semi-final. He comes through into the final series of corners. Deeper line again there for Mitch Evans. The possibility he's just starting to overdrive the car now as he tries to claw back that advantage. Cassidy comes to the line, 0.2 of a second nearly in his pocket. Evans claws a little bit back, but it's not enough. And Nick Cassidy will go through. Mitch Evans is out. Semi-final two then, Jake Dennis versus Norman Nato. Could we see Nato going through into the finals for the first time this season? Dennis nice and smooth out of 14 through 15 across the timing line. What does it look like for him? It's a 1:02 flat, but Nato losing time now.
He's made a mistake somewhere at turn 9, I think, because he's dropped a 10th at turn 9, and as the lap unfolds, Tom.
Yeah, he's fighting it there. He's got 2 100s up. It's going to be close between these two as we come to the line. I think Dennis is just going to do it. He does by 22 thousandths of a second. It is going to be Nick Cassidy versus Jake Dennis in the finals then. Here we go into the first corner. Nice and tidy through into there. What's it like? A little bit deep.
Ooh. Bit of power oversteer there as he went onto the throttle. He was on just after the apex and the car moved a little bit.
He's just a sort of foot or so offline going into turn 2. That might cost him half a tenth of a second or so. You can see Nick Cassidy in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Let's see what he looks like as he comes over the timing line. First sector for Dennis is strong though. It's a 19.5.
He got a really good line there into turn 6 again, and then using all the width on the way out. Watching Cassidy in the bottom left, misses the apex of 3, and that's compromised his line into 4. So Cassidy didn't look like he had a great run through there, and it's cost him about half a tenth.
Well, just to remind you, neither of these drivers have started in the top 4 here in Tempelhof. Both of them are chasing their first pole position of the season, and it's advantage for Casti. If anything, a little bit deep there for Dennis, and a snap of oversteer coming through 14 as well as he tried to correct it. We come to the timing line here for Jake Dennis. What does it look like for him? It's a 101.819. Nick Casti is now building up the advantage. Let's see what he can do in this second sector. 19,000 of a second he's up, but he's lost time in sector 2, and he's going to have the mother and father of all final sectors to try and correct that. We saw a mistake from Dennis here, so that might present an opportunity for Nick Casti. He too has a slip and a slide though as we come to the timing line. Surely it is going to go the way of Jake Dennis as we go to the checkered flag, and it does. Jake Dennis takes his first pole position of 2024, his first top 4 start here in Tempelhof as well, and it is delight for Andretti as well.